I'll just spend a couple of minutes on this, is discuss your second piece of assessment, discuss the rationale statement. Okay, so your rationale statement sits behind inside your 3 lesson plans in your lesson sequence. Now remembering that those lesson plans can be anywhere from the unit. So you've got your unit, which might be, say, 12 lessons altogether, and this might be lesson 1, this might be lesson 5, or this might be lesson 9, or this could be 1, 2 and 3, or 4, 5 and 9, or whatever. But you've got to tell me that it's number 1 of 12, 5 of 12, or whatever, okay? And remembering that you've got 3 that are 2 that are 2 pages, 1 that can be up to 4 pages, that's detailed, and that's 2 pages, and the detailed one can be any one that you choose. It doesn't have to be the one, it can be any one that you choose for really close scrutiny. Now, your rationale statement, a rationale statement explains the educational purpose of the lesson content that you have included. It expresses your beliefs and understandings of the developmental characteristics of young adolescents and how the activities cater to the age group in light of the other factors around quality teaching. So your rationale statement guides your lesson plan sequence and activities in the same way a theoretical framework would guide a research project. The rationale is based on the needs of the assessment. So the purpose of it is to convince others of the importance of the proposed activities and the logic of the outlined approach. So it's a persuasive piece that's supposed to justify and explain the choices that you've made in your lesson plans. And so when you look at it, you know, the what of it is it's a justification, and what its job is to explain your choices in your lesson plan, in your lesson plans. So in all 3. So it actually has to overarch all 3. So in my lessons I have done this, this and this because of. And the things that you've got to include in terms of your justification, sorry, can you still see them? Is the wiki topics, so things like, you know, so if you've used a lot of higher order thinking or ways that you've engaged, if you've used, you know, some of the other topics that we've got in there, you know, link those in. It needs to be strongly focused around the young adolescent learner and the developmental characteristics that they have. So development, and also around quality teaching. We've spent 2 weeks now on quality teaching and on pedagogy and on those signifying practices that we've shown to be effective in teaching young adolescents. So what are the sorts of things that we've looked at? We looked at those things today in terms of engagement. We looked at, you know, those nurturing relationships. We looked at connectedness. We looked at safe and supportive environments. So, you know, how are you actually doing that, and what have you established within there? So looking at those things that we looked at from the lecture this week around lively teaching, connectedness, curiosity and challenge, are those things embedded in there? So what you should do is have a look through your lesson plans, and I would look at something that's overarching in all of them, and then choose a couple of examples from your lessons to explain in detail in terms of what you've done. Now remember that this needs to be referenced, so in-text referencing as well as a reference list, and lecture notes are not an acceptable reference. Do not reference lecture notes, okay? So you need to go to the literature and find your own stuff. Are there any questions?
The APA?
Yes, APA 6, always.
The referencing, is that just for the rationale, not for the lesson plan?
It's for the rationale, not the lesson plans.
First or third person for the rationale. Explain our choices. So I guess that's first person.
Yeah, use first person, but don't make it chatty. Okay, because I think if you can write it in third person, I would go for that. But you can do a mix of both, because when I've seen work where we said, look, you can do it in first person, they then start to do this narrative. I did this because of this, and I did this, and I did this, and, you know, rather than justifying it. So make sure that you maintain that formal language if you're going to do that.
is that the entire assignment? It is, isn't it? Pretty much based on the lesson plans, then you just do it your rationale.
Yeah, so I want some really, and that's why I've spent so much time on trying to do some games and to do some hooks and to do some things like to try and show you, you know, how to teach stuff in a different way.
Is there a word count for the rationale?
Yeah, it's 1,000 words.
1,000? Cool.
And do we have
I'm not mean,
Do
but
we
it's
have
going to have to be a good 1,000 words.
I was more concerned it would be like 200.
No, you've got 1,000. So this is 1,000. Now, don't forget also that I've given you a page that's not in the word count to set the context.
Is that just the title page?
It's a title page, but you can use, you know, a couple of hundred words in there to sort of say, you know, this is this age group, this is the thing, this is the reason I'm doing it. This is the stuff that we did last semester because, and also if you're giving me lesson 1 and then lesson 5, you might actually have to say here, between lesson 1 and lesson 5, this is some of the learning that's happened. Between lesson 5 and lesson 9, this is some of the learning that's happened. So that they make sense, so that if you've got a really great activity here, and a really, you know, great activity here, that you actually can say, okay, well, this is why that we've made such a monumental leap in terms of the stuff that we're doing.
And do we have to do a unit overview or not?
No. You just need to do 3. If you wanted to, if you just wanted to do like a, you know, I've got 10 lessons and this is what's happening in 1, 2, 3, that's fine. But put it on that front page, don't. I don't want to create more work for you. I know that you are time poor and I know that you have got other assessment stuff on. I can actually assess you and have this to be quite what we call a discriminating piece of assessment, so that if you do it well, you will get a good mark, and if you miss bits, then I'll be able to identify that and show you where you need to improve and what you need to be focused on. So I have no concerns about giving you as much information as I possibly can to get you to do a good job of lesson plans and to actually do a good job of that rationale. But it's the level of sophistication that you put into that will actually be, you know, what I'll be able to measure on.